And what I think about, it's about their ambition, right? Like I work globally with the people, and I've known that their ambition is more better, their thinking is more better. And so, like, what do you want to do, what the startup you want to do, you have to be work, think how globally you can. Okay, so in a simple language, I'm going to tell you how it actually works. Well, my name is Madhav Sharma, and I'm a founder of many things, but I don't want to tell you here. And introducing myself is not necessarily, because when you just attend this lecture and you will get to know everything about me. Okay, the introduction of the people come from their behavior and attitude, not from the thing what he does, right? Okay, so for today, I'm gonna tell you uh what is a startup, right? Okay, so okay, first of all, it's been like PDF has been showing on your left side. First of all, what you think what a startup was? Like the people that I have just gone through my Instagram account, I'm just watching the reels of the people, and what I have got known from there is that they're thinking today's an AI era, right? And what they do is they take any kind of an AI agent from anywhere, and they create a service from this AI agent and tell it is a startup. But it's a wrong definition of a startup if I tell you. And it's not a startup. It's a kind of a business that you are just entering into and which already exists. And I think it's been just going. It will be going, but not too much, right? It, the AI is a revolution, but now you are using that AI agent for any service that is called as a freelancer, or you can call it as a doing any freelancing project, right? You are not, you must not be saying it is a startup. Like I have many reels I've seen, and it's been going like these are the startups that what we are going. We have made an AI customer calling agent that attend customers call. It already exists, right? So you have not created any kind of a startup idea, it already exists. You just take from a bed and created your own. So it's a not of a startup idea, and it's not a startup idea, right? If you're taking that an AI agent and you're making something new that entirely changes something, it's a kind of a startup idea. Okay, so first I'm gonna tell you what is a startup, and from this PDF as well that's being on your left hand side. Okay, so yeah, what is a startup? Startup is started with the work and innovation. Innovation for any kind of a problem that being created in our entire life. Okay, so just don't go from this definition. Just think for any kind of a product, right? So I'm having this phone. Phone is the best example of telling this. I'm on phone. Earlier there was no phones. We used to write with a kind of a paper and poster, right? Now the phone comes here when we started calling the keypad ones. Now the more smart modern phones have come there, and we have just gone from a chat box and going for a video call. And now it's been to revolution, and we don't have to pay anything for getting our video calls. Earlier we used to, okay, not for video calls but for the normal calls, right? But today it's been more cheaper than before. Earlier it was too expensive because it's a new technology that the people might not know about. Okay, so it's there is an innovation, a different kinds of innovation. If I just talk about this watch, okay, so earlier there were watches of classic watches. Now a kind of an era of these watches, but you know, it's been replacing by the kind of a fitness straps, mainly Whoop. So Whoop is a startup idea, and it's a startup, okay, because it's there is a revolution behind it, and they have made something related to fitness, thinking moreover. So this type of things being called as a startup, not you are just taking anything and this called as a business, right? If you take any kind of a product, and you're just making it, so it's not a startup. If you consider it as a startup, so any shop, any kirana shops and many more are the startups, right? So these are not the startups. Startups are the more that play any kind of a revolution in the entire industries, right? It's just replacing the entire industries, and that's what this PDF also tells about. Okay, this PDF is from a reliable source, not like I've created it, but the information is from reliable sources. Okay, so people have faced challenges that existing system fail to solve efficiently, and that's what exactly we're talking about, right? So efficiency is the main thing, and for the increasing the efficiency of doing any kind of thing, we create a kind of a machine, tech machine or any physical machine, and that is called as a startup, right? Earlier we used to write with a kind of a ink in a box and a brush. We used to write with that, and then the revolution came, which is a pencil, and then a more revolution come, which is a pen, and one more revolution will be coming in the future that will replace all this, right? The new generations will use that, and we will know about that, right? But it's been like the pencil are not replaced, but somewhere the pen has been just introduced for getting it more over. But like if you're going to the more, like I'm just predicting it, when you will be in 2050s or 2060s, there will be no pens and pencils at all. Also the many people, like if they are just working as a startup, they will say yes, this pen has an AI, and it's been nothing, just being an AI, and you will think it's a startup. Now that's not a startup, right? So first of all, we should know what is a startup was, and I think it's been a clear definition that think what you are doing, opening your agency, making a website for any kind of a business, or making an kind of a dashboard, flow pages from anything or anything. It's not a startup because you're using that product and just making an handed over, right? So it's a kind of a freelance. Okay, so if you're just going in, many of the product people use every day did not exist 20 years ago, and that what really I'm just gonna tell you. If you're just going more 20 years more, that's in 2060, right? I'm not taking these more 3 years. Okay, so if you're just going to 2060, you will see that there is no pen and pencil at all. We're just writing, maybe we are writing with the air and air writing. Like we just do this kind of action, and it stimulates indoor writing. Okay, so we don't have to just trace over the paper, and I think that there will be no papers because that generation that what we are having is going to more biodegradable. Okay, so I think you should know now. You are just able to understand what is a startup and what is not a startup. Now the most famous thing that I'm gonna tell you about, this is a kind of a course where just I'm gonna tell you about more things of startup, how to make a startup, how to build it, how MVP, marketing, designing, everything, right? And at the end, if this course goes successfully planned, that what I've thought about, so we will make a real startup, and I will show you with a real example of the startup that how it's been exactly made, right? With like with the videos, and we will sell over it. So if we're just going, why does the world need startups? Online payment services, the famous thing, right? We used to pay with cash. Then a revolution come, that's a kind of a UPI payments, which are not earlier and we had not thought about. We think, okay, we can just give a money. Why do we have? But now it's being using. So startup plays an important role in the entire generation. It's like an economic development, right? And they generate employment, technological purpose. But most one thing, always it's been not that startups comes from a technology. Startups are for anything. It's been like a hardware that you're using. What is in hardware? Yeah, for sure the system over this is the more techy of a tech light, but that's not a startup, right? Creating this watch is a startup idea. my my main point of view is to know what is the startup, is what you want to learn, right? What is a startup basically? So Please in future don't call if you're just making a calling agent and making calling names to the people. So these are not the startups, these are just a freelance. There are four characteristics of the startups. First is the innovation. Second, solving real problems. If it's an innovation, that surely you'll be solving a real problem. Third is a scalability. It should be scalable because, like, if you're innovating anything and just getting a kind of a product which are resolving a real problem, so it should be working with the millions of the people. You're not making it for the 10 or 20, right? And a continuous learning, that you have to make your revolution because there is someone behind you that will work more better than you in your area only and will be beating you, right? So you have to be just continue learning and working behind, right? So first of all, I'm going to tell you what is innovation. You know, innovation comes, what, like how the innovation comes with a problem. And for that, I think many of the people should walk around, see over there that there is a kind of innovation that what I have to think, right? Like many times I have to think kind of an idea, so I'm like just rolling over here, okay, any kind of idea, just get it right. So innovation not comes from there, innovation comes from living to the ground reality behind that, right? You're just living the ground reality of any kind of reality, right? It's been like, I'm just going on a road, I've just seen a traffic, it's been red light. So I think like why not do route change of there? If you're using satellite and we just tell to the car using a any kind of a map app that this is on a red light, you should go from here. Or what we can do is if we are having two lights, if there is only one car and green light, it goes over, and another side is been red light and a 60 minutes of time, all the cars have to be stopped irrespective they have too much, right? Okay, I'm gonna explain you more easily. Let's say there is a kind of a crossroads. Here's a traffic light, here's a traffic light. From this route only one car is just passing the road, right? And from this route 10-20 cars, right? So here it's been just go 60 minutes of red light, and from the side of a one car it go green light. Now the car has passed over, no car is there, but still there are red lights, so they have to be stopped at 10, 20, 100 cars, whatever. So it causes a traffic, right? So what we can do is we can make a kind of a sensor traffic light which automatically detects that, okay, this is, there is a no car, we should open this, so car is going from there, right? So it create a kind of a solved problem of traffic that's been more common in India if I talk about. So this called an innovation. You have thought about some idea and you get innovated in. Okay, solving a real problem. A traffic light is solving a real problems, not making too much traffic, and it's a solving a problem, right? But if you just go to the third one, that is scalability. Solving real problem, I've told you, you are just helping a people with their problem. Innovation, you are helping the people with the problem, like of their problem, with innovating something, right? But like Airbnb and Uber transformed hospitality transport not by inventing the core service but by simplifying the experience, right? So it goes like, traffic light is already there but you have innovated something in there, right? So it's me like that. Solving real problem, it's a genuine customer problem, it's a genuine problem of a car guy or of a driver. But if we just go to the point of a scalability, here the traffic light disrupts, right? Because you are not making any kind of a revenue unless and until you are taking a contract or a tender from a government. If you're able to do that, it's a best idea that you can do. Okay, so the ability to increase a customer base, professionally increasing the cost, right? Okay, so software can be served to millions with relatively few modifications. It's been like for a software, but I'm not going to notes, I'm just going to tell you how it's been really solving it. You have like gone to the idea of the traffic light, right? The light A, the light B, the light C, and you're just working this, that, these, those. So it goes like that. If I just go to the continuous learning, it's not always you're having tender rights. Someone come here behind you, innovate something in there, solving real problem of someone, make it scalable, and will beat you. They will take their contacts, right? So you have to be continue learning that what industry you are in. Don't ever think that you have created something innovative, you have solved a problem, you're become scalable, you're having millions of dollars in your account, but don't ever think that this is enough, because someone is there to beat you, and you have to beat yourself every day. Every single day you have to be better than before. And that's what I actually do. I was seeing my today, and I always try my best to do it tomorrow, right? Make your tomorrow always best or better than yesterday, right? So it will be more a continuous learning. So startup improve through experimentation. Yeah, you have to experiment, and that's the best. Surely there will be failures when you innovate something, you solve a real problem, you will be scalable. Surely there will be failures, but that failures are the one which teach you, right? That the failure, I think, is the back end of their startups. Any startup you see Google, you see Apple, Samsung, any of the biggest MNC, there is kind of a failure behind the back end of there, right? So back end is always failure, and front is always success. Make this idea, right? Always the front end is a success, and always the back end is a failure. Okay, so the process of collecting feedback, you have to collect the feedback of the people, right? It's been working very good or not, and refining the product, right? You have to just making the sensors more upgraded in the traffic light. I'm just giving you an example of a traffic light, so that it will be more better for you to understand that what I'm going to tell you and what I'm trying to saying you. Okay, so the refining product is known as a iteration. Just make in mind, it's a kind of a definition, don't learn it. What you have to do if you become an entrepreneur, let's say you have just created this idea of a traffic light, and you are on a way, and you just stop the car which is on a red light, and you say, how you like this idea? Someone say, it's been good, it's working very good, I'm just having my office now on a time. But like many of the people say, no, it's not good, because in this route always there are lesser car, right? So it always been on a red light, it not always turn into green. That's a problem, right? So you have to be just take the customer's feedback and refine that process. You have to just make it like in every 10 seconds it has to be green. As well as sensor is working, but you have to make it light. So that is the continuous learning, that is the customer feedback. Now, how the life cycle of a startup goes on. Okay, now many people having thinking like it's been 18 minutes of video, and they're thinking what I've created, so I'm just going to tell you this kind of ideas. So it's a kind of a secret, I will tell you. Okay, so problem discovery. The founder identify a meaningful problem, that what you have founded, right? Of a crowd, of a traffic that we are facing in our day-to-day life, and it's been solving millions of problems in every city, in every state, in every country. There is a kind of this problem. I must not say in every country, every city, every state, right? Customer research. You have to be research that your customer are willing to use or not. You're making a traffic light which is on a sensor, you have to be think that they are liking it or not. You have to be just that is the continuous learning, right? You have to be taking the feedback from a customer. So it's been like that. Solution design, MVP. I will tell you what is the MVP. Okay, it's a kind of a separate course in it. We are having chapter 1, and in this chapter 1, what is a startup, we are having moreover approx 5 sessions. Okay, at least 3 and maximum 5 if series goes more better. So a solution design a minable viable product, a minimum viable product, sorry. So it's created only with the essential features. let's say I've created this traffic light, and the only feature that I have included in the traffic light is the red light, yellow light, green light, and the sensors which are turning it red, yellow, green on a time with checking that there are how many cars, right? So it's like that. I will tell more over onto this. Okay, so what is the market validation? Market validation, you should know the real users, if they are determined to use, right, the real users to determine if customer genuinely value the solution. Yeah, that's the point, right? If customer are willing to use that, if customers are thinking that okay, it's been turning into green light, it's a best traffic light that I have ever seen, right? So this is kind of a market validation. You have to validate first. What the main startup was, don't create now, because nowadays it's been very easy. Don't create it, just validate it first. If validation is successful, your idea is going to be successful. Validate it and then make it. And that's the point, right? Growth, once validated, the company expand its customer base through marketing, product improvements, right? So validate your idea before making two and after making two. Validate your idea before making with your family members, with your neighborhoods, right? Creating your designs, creating your research papers should be there, which are going to validate your idea. Then growth, when your product is ready, then you have to grow your product. First you are in one city, then you have to go for city B, then city C, D, F, G, H, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, and many of the city, right? You have to cover every city, and that is called as a growth, right? So it's a kind of a growth, and the PDF is over now, and the session is of 22 minutes. I hope so you liked it, and if not, so just make it a dislike, and if you like, just make it a like. And in the next session I'm going to tell you more about this topic, what is a startup. Also I will be revealing my startup to you on recently, like very soon. I'm just going to represent my idea to you. Okay, so bye everyone, and we'll meet you in next sessions.